it would be better to knock it out in the morning, because when you get off of work, it's going to be hit or miss whether you're going to go to the gym or not. 2010 to 2012, I was addicted to painkillers. I've taken everything. You kind of have to do it. It's kind of like putting racing fuel in your car. Came out here, quit my job, and I probably went broke probably within like a year and a half. And I remember the last time I called my mom and stepdad to borrow money, he was like, tell him we're not sending him any more money after that. So many people who think they're going to come into this industry, I'm going to be a personal trainer, I'm going to make 6 figures immediately and just grow my brand, or they're like, I'm going to be an online trainer. I've been in this industry a long time. Not going to happen.
This is the Mr. Brrrr Show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I am excited about today's show. I think that most people out there, if they admit it or not, they want a couple things in life. They want happiness. They want money. I think everyone would admit they want abs. So whether they admit it or not, the man I have on the show today, I've known for probably 9-10 years. I don't think I've ever seen him above 8% body fat. The dude is dialed at all times. Not only is he like a freak of nature when it comes to staying in shape, fitness, nutrition, has all the keys that we're going to share with you guys, but also he comes from a very dark place in his life. He's overcome addiction. He's grown a business that is very successful out here in Scottsdale, Arizona, all from, again, not having much as a kid and overcoming a lot of things. So I think you guys are going to get a ton of value. Without further ado, Corey Upton, welcome to the show, brother.
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, dude. So let's dive into, for people, just the importance of fitness, the importance of nutrition, and kind of what it's done for your life and what you think you can do for other people.
I mean, I think it's important for anyone to, be in a healthy lifestyle, healthy habits. I mean, I think it can change your life for the better. For me, I mean, I've always been into sports. I mean, pretty sure you were when we grew up. So it all started out just being in sports for me. I was pretty healthy for the most part. And then I think I did my first bodybuilding competition in 2007. So I kind of got talked into it by a best friend of mine and kind of just got hooked from there. I mean, it was always, I want to be 185 with abs. I wanted to be 200 with abs. And I was able to just get addicted to it and build a business from it. But it wasn't easy from the beginning, Had a lot of struggles coming up through it. I mean, we've competed together. I think it's turned our lives around for the better, just having that structure and that discipline.
100%.
Yeah.
So you said got addicted to it.
Yes.
Let's talk on that because, man, I think addiction can be a very healthy thing if you're addicted to the right things.
Yes.
Right? It can be a very negative thing if you're addicted to the wrong things.
Yes.
And you've been on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk on that.
Should we do the good thing first, fitness?
Yeah, let's start with the good.
So if you get addicted to working out and fitness, it's awesome. I mean, it can be a little bit self-centered, but there's nothing better to get addicted to than I think being healthy and working out. So I think anyone could grow and learn from that all around. Then if we go down the dark road, sometimes you can get addicted to bad things. For me, it was opioids, painkillers, and that took me down a dark path. I think I went from 2010 to 2012. I was addicted to painkillers, and it all started out just working at the W, doing security. I think a couple guys offered them to me for a night shift just to kind of get through it. I would do it on Friday night, on a Saturday night, and then next thing I knew, 4 or 5 months later, I was completely addicted to painkillers. I mean, I was spending my checks on them. I mean, I was taking them daily. I was like what you would call like a functional drug addict or productive drug addict. I always went to work out still. I always went to work. No one really knew behind the scenes what was going on. And then I got to a really dark place where I couldn't even wake up to eat my breakfast or work out without, taking some type of, painkiller. I mean, I've talked to you about it a little bit. We haven't dived into it like that deep.
Yeah. What did that do to your mental health, knowing that at first you didn't need it to function?
Yeah.
But then it became so much of a part of your life that you almost needed it just to function, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it tears you down, you start having friends saying, hey, you're taking these a little bit too often, or let's say you're in a relationship and they're like, how often do you take these? Or if I had to have a girlfriend bring one to me at work without freaking out, like I just woke up one morning and I said, you know, I've had enough of this. Like I have to like change my life for the better. So I checked myself into a rehabilitation center. I think it was the summer of 2012. So, I mean, it really wasn't that long, but to be hooked on that for 2 years, if it would have kept going, it could have spiraled down a very, like, even darker path, you know?
And you were how old?
I was, let's see, it was from when I was 22 to 24 years old.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Because, like, I think a lot of people that are listening to this, they can relate with maybe not being addicted to, you know, painkillers or anything, right? But just struggling early in life, right? Like, most people, they don't just have a ton of success in their 20s. And if they do, a lot of times it's handed to them and then they lose it.
Definitely.
So the fact that you kind of went through these struggles early on and now you're what, 36?
34.
34.
Yeah.
Sorry. So 34 years old, learned a ton from like those dark times. And that's crazy because I think we met in 2013, maybe 2014.
I think, 14. Yeah.
You know, and I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just was like, dude, this dude's freaking jacked.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to compete.
Yeah. No one would ever know, you know?
Yeah.
I
mean, did I commend you for actually coming out of it? Like 2 years of just being hooked on something and then to what you've built.
Yep.
Like, it's a success story, brother. It really is. Like, you've built from that dark time and you were like dead broke, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I remember you
feel like we both went through that struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were super broke, addicted to painkillers.
Yeah.
Probably hanging out with the wrong people.
Definitely the wrong crowd of people.
Right.
I mean, I'm ashamed that it all happened, but I have no regrets because I probably wouldn't have been as driven to be where I'm at without going through all those struggles, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I was not only getting into taking, you know, pills, I was also like selling drugs on the side, got into the wrong crowd with that. I mean, I don't even know if my parents know like how deep that was. I mean, that was another dark time. So everything that was going on at that point was super toxic.
Jeez.
So,
and now 180.
yeah, completely
time.
flipped it around. Yeah.
So you've got a business out here in Scottsdale, personal training. So you help people with nutrition, with different workouts.
Yep.
And I know you've been building that for quite some time. You've got a lot of trainers that are under you now. So how can people benefit from that if they're out here in Phoenix?
Okay.
How can they benefit from you helping them work out? What's like your specialty? Is it functional movement? Is it strength training? Let's speak on that.
We do in-person training here in Scottsdale. I have a couple trainers under me, a little team. So we focus more on functional training, circuit training, and then we do a lot of like corrective exercise as well. And then I do online training as well. So I have an app if maybe you can't afford in person or maybe you're out of state. So we tailor all your workouts for the month, all your nutrition. We do weekly check-ins, progress pictures, so we can pretty much get you covered no matter if you're wanting to be a bodybuilder or maybe you're just 45 years old and want to get back into shape.
Yeah, you've had all kinds of clients.
All kinds, yeah.
Women, men, I've seen some really long in the tooth clients. You know what I mean? I've seen some clients that are very young.
Yep.
You've gotten a bunch of people on stage, and
I mean, even helped you at one point. You know, we were competing, coached you a little bit, so it's been fun. I would say I still have a lot of clients that compete now, but it's tailored towards. I have a lot of like plus 40 clients, you know, that are businessmen and women, and they just want to stay in shape, drop some body fat. So it's fun training them.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm a firm believer that how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So if you can really be dialed on your diet, really dialed on your workouts, in my opinion, it's best to do it in the morning.
Yep.
And we can, you know, talk about what you think the best time to work out and all that stuff is. But I always think it's best to have your workouts in the morning because a lot of times you don't want to work out.
Yeah.
Right? It's not something that most people are like, oh, I can't wait to go lift some weights. Especially you've been doing it for years and years and years. Like I've been training for like 11, 12 years now.
Yep.
And at first you're like, yeah, you get like a high from the pump, but then it just gets monogamous.
Yep.
Monogamous. Whatever the word is. I think that's how you say it. Monogamous. Monogamous. Whatever. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So you go through these like little ruts where it's like hard to get the energy to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's best to do it first thing in the morning, get it out of the way.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And if you're doing the hard things in the morning, first thing, you're building tough skin for one, but also you're actually doing something that's bettering your health. And without your health, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
If you're out of shape, if you have some disease in your body because of what you're putting in your body, you can't go make money financially. You can't hang out with your kids. You can't hang out with your spouse, right? So what are your thoughts on like time of day to work out? When's the best time?
I would agree for most people, if it's all has to do with your schedule, but for most people, if you're not as driven as us, or if you're not a bodybuilder, it would be better to knock it out in the morning, because when you get off of work, it's going to be hit or miss whether you're going to go to the gym or not.
Excuses.
But as long as you're getting it in, staying consistent with it, I think that's the best thing to do. And that's with your nutrition, with your cardio, or your workouts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So what about nutrition? What do you put in your body? What's a normal day for you?
So a normal day for me, I mean, if we're going off calorie wise, I still consume about 4,000 calories. You know, I like to keep like it's no big deal.
Hey, guys, hear what he just said. I just consume about 4,000 calories a day.
And this is me, 25 pounds lighter than when we were first hanging out.
It's all like, it's in relation to your body type.
Yes.
Right? You're 6'3"?
Mm-hmm. Like 225, 226 now.
Yeah, so 4,000 calories makes sense for you.
Yes.
If I took in 4,000 calories, I'd be a bowling ball.
Yeah, you'd probably be a little Pillsbury Doughboy over there.
Yeah. So 4,000 calories.
Yes. Right. So I eat clean. I mean, I'm super disciplined. I think, like you said, us getting into fitness at an early age, it just kind of set the tone for how disciplined we are overall. You know, if you work hard and can do a competition, you can put that towards your business or your lifestyle. I think you can do anything, you know, and that's why I always respected you from the beginning, because when we put our mind to a show, we were 110% in, you know, no matter what. I remember you would never even have an extra grain of salt or an extra green bean when you were on prep, you know, you were dialed in. So I try to eat clean during the week. So Monday through Friday, I'll eat the same meals. I eat clean proteins, complex carbs. I keep my fats pretty low. And then I'll have a refeed or a cheat meal, you would say, on Wednesday and Saturday. But Monday through Friday, I'm pretty consistent. And then I'll have a couple bad meals maybe on the weekend.
What's a bad meal for you?
For me, I would do sushi. I like barbecue. I like steaks. You know, I like going to a good steakhouse, froyo. Me and my girlfriend like to get froyo on the weekends all the time.
You know what's funny is everything you just said, except for the froyo, isn't that bad.
I know. But to most people, that's like a normal meal during the week.
Yeah. But like when I think of bad food, most people are thinking burgers, they're thinking pizza, they're thinking bacon and a lot of just processed food, right?
Yes.
So let's speak on the importance of staying away from processed food.
That's one of the biggest ones. So along with that, so I usually tell clients, cut out processed food, cut out dairy. This can be controversial. I feel like cutting dairy out helps a lot with your digestion and stuff overall. Keep your sugars to a minimum. And if you can start with that, just cutting those out, you're already going to be making big changes. But processed food, I mean, you got to stay away from it. It's going to cause you to have inflammation. It's going to cause you to have bloating. You could have brain fog from it. I mean, everything processed is no bueno.
For sure. I mean, I talk about this a lot with people because, again, I used to bodybuild, right? And most people don't know that because I think it was 7 years ago now. My last show was 2017, so 6 years ago.
And me too. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like you still are in like pretty much ready for prep shape.
Yeah.
Like I would need to prep for like 3 months to be ready for a show.
Yeah.
But what I took, the biggest thing from competing is what you put in your body matters. A lot of people think like, you just got to take some steroids.
Yep.
It's like the biggest lie ever is that people think just got to take some steroids and I'll be jacked.
Yep.
If you take steroids and you don't clean your diet up, you're just going to be kind of watery looking and puffy looking.
Yep. You're going to feel horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was that easy, Devin would be pro and I would have been at the Mr. Olympia years ago. I wish it was that easy. But I mean, I could take, steroids and I could eat McDonald's and do cardio and I would look decent, but I would probably have a stroke or a heart attack in 3 years. Right. You can't do that.
So obviously you've taken anabolics.
Yep.
Right. Is there a healthy way to do it?
I would say there is. If you're going to talk about doing a bodybuilder stack, you're going to be pushing the limits, but it's kind of like you have to do it to compete. There's natural competitors, like in minor leagues, and then there's a big league. So, we both went through this. I've taken everything. You kind of have to do it. It's kind of like putting racing fuel in your car. But if you're talking about just doing testosterone or TRT and getting your blood work done every month or every 2 months, there's a safe way to do it. I mean, I have clients that I train, they're doctors, and they'll explain to you there is a safe way to do it if you're staying up on your blood work. 100%. And you're eating healthy, obviously.
100%.
That's a big one.
I actually am on TRT. So I take a shot every week, administered from my doctor.
Yep.
And every 6 months we do blood work to make sure that I'm not getting blood clots. If that happens, that's very dangerous.
Yep.
Right? Making sure that my estrogen levels are in line, my cholesterol. So if your blood work is in line, it's actually very healthy for you.
It is.
Right? Because as you age, at 30 years old, I believe it is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, at 30, your natural levels really start taking a dip.
Yep. It's usually right after 30. So if you can keep, your levels sustained and, you can still do a decent amount as long as you're getting your blood work done and staying on top of your cardio and eating right.
Yeah. I do it just to not feel sluggish and so I don't do a lot. I basically take enough to keep me around the levels I used to have at 30.
Yep. And same with me.
And I'm 38.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not getting any younger, but I stay in pretty good shape. And most of it is because I'm pretty diligent on my diet. I slip up probably more than you do. I have wine almost 2 times a week usually.
Yep.
2-3 times. I just like wine. But I'm diligent on what's going in my body because I also understand gut health and how important that is, right?
Yep.
So speak on that. Gut health, what you're putting in your gut, and how that manifests in a different disease in the body.
Yeah. And just touching on what you said, I'm all about moderation. I have my cheat meals during the week too. You have your wine. I have my bourbon. I let all the clients go out and at least splurge on Saturday.
Right. I forgot you love you some bourbon.
Yeah. I think it's super healthy, but I never realized how important digestion was until I really started having some issues 2017 at the end of competing, having stomach ulcers. I had times where I'd eaten in the break room and thrown up blood. I thought I was very sick, and it was all because of digestion issues. It's what you're eating, what you're putting in. Now I take, my enzymes with every meal. I'm on top of it. I try to eat cleaner foods. I try to eat organic foods when I can. I'll still splurge a little bit, but if you're not staying on top of what you're putting in your body, you're just going to feel sluggish. Your stomach's going to feel horrible. You're probably going to have terrible digestion issues every day.
You don't get sick very often, huh?
No.
I don't remember the last time you being sick.
Yeah.
And that's because of how you eat.
Yep. I mean, it has a lot to do with it for sure.
So I've learned this is that outside of your gut, I forget the exact percentage, but most of your white blood cells surround the outside of your gut for obvious reasons. Everything that's coming into your body is coming in through your mouth, going into your stomach. So any kind of bad bacteria, anything, if it gets through that gut lining, all the white blood cells are there to make sure that you don't get sick, right? But what we do as Americans mostly is we eat so many processed foods that actually eat away at the lining of our gut. It's called leaky gut.
Yep.
And that's when things get through, and then your white blood cells are on overdrive all the time. And think about us as human beings. If we're constantly going and we don't sleep and rest, what are we? Very tired.
Yep.
Right? We're overworked. Our bodies don't perform as well. The blood cells are the same way, right? So if something gets through and it's constantly attacking it to make sure you don't get sick, that's when you get sick. That's when disease happens from what you're putting in your body.
Yep.
Right?
Think how many people we see this with. They're sick all the time. Oh, I don't know why I'm sick. I'm like, well, how are you eating? And they're like, oh, it could be better. I mean, you hear it all the time.
It could be better. It could be a lot better, probably.
A lot better. And it's not rocket scientist. It's just figuring out what works for you, eating the correct amount of protein, just cleaning your diet up a little bit, not eating a bunch of sweets, a bunch of junk food, and not drinking alcohol during the week. I mean, they want to complain about wanting this six-pack, wanting this physique, and some clients, it's funny, they'll eat like crap, they'll drink liquor, and then they'll try to like work it off in the gym. I'm doing extra cardio, I'm doing extra workouts. Like, you will never, we hear this cliche, you will never outwork a bad diet, ever.
Doesn't work like that.
You could work out less half the time and just eat cleaner. You
100%.
look amazing.
I usually do about, I would say daily, at least 45 minutes on the stairs.
Oh, daily still?
Every day.
Yeah, you're on it.
Every single day. Because I actually enjoy the stairs because I can lean over and like work.
Yeah.
So I'll get through all my emails. I'll come up with like video ideas. So most of my creative time is on the stairs or getting back to emails, getting back to text messages.
Yep.
So I kind of dual purpose, and I'll look down. I'm like, oh crap, I've been on for an hour.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
But in that time frame, I might burn 500-600 calories. That's like one cheeseburger.
Yep. That's not that
Like,
much.
like who eats just one cheeseburger?
I know.
They usually have the fries.
Yeah.
They got the soda that's got a pound of sugar.
Yep.
So yeah, you cannot outwork a bad diet.
Yep.
And guys, I'm telling you, if you're watching this or listening to this, think about the last time you went to the grocery store. Where did you go? Did you go to the middle aisles or did you go on the outside? If you kind of just, the most of your diet, if you just stick to the outside of the grocery store, you'll be in all right shape. What's on the outside? All of your produce, right? Your greens, your fruit. Go to this side. Where's over here? Your meat.
I never thought about it that way.
That's how it
it's
is,
like all
dude.
the junk food and everything and sweets are more in the middle.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Everything, bro.
Yeah.
And if you just think of like the colors of a rainbow, if you can just get those colors in, get some strawberries, you got your red, get oranges, get some greens,
Yep.
get some blueberries. Most people think, oh, I'm eating healthy, I got my greens. But you didn't have anything else. You didn't have
Yep.
your watermelon. You didn't have anything else that is essential for vital organs. And again, gut health is so, so important.
Yep.
Right?
And they think it takes so much time to meal prep. Well, it's like you can go out to dinner multiple times a week, waste 2 hours. You can watch Netflix for an hour and a half. It takes you maybe 30 or 40 minutes to meal prep for half of the week. It's like they're just literally making excuses. Or if you have money to do all this other stuff, it's like buy meal prep.
Yeah, just have them delivered
Just
to
have
you.
it delivered to you. You have no excuse. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's about how bad you want it, at the end of the day.
I think it's priorities.
Yeah.
If your priorities are in line, the decision is easy.
Yes. You will do what you have to do to get it done if it's your priority. If not, stop complaining about it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, dude, let's talk about kind of the younger Corey Upton,
Okay.
right? Like, let's rewind the clock maybe 15 years.
Okay. So
Right?
let's
So you're
go
like
back.
you're like 19, 20
Okay.
years old.
That would be perfect. That's when I actually first moved here.
19, 20 years old. You moved from
From southern Indiana, Jeffersonville, Indiana, or Charlestown, we'll say. So I'm from a super small town. I think a lot of people get like the wrong image of me, or sometimes they do. They think I'm like super serious. They don't really understand me. You know me. I'm like goofy kid, down to earth when it comes to it. But they think I'm from like California or something. When I first moved here, I still had like a strong like southern accent. I'm like right on the border of Kentucky, small country town in cornfield. I probably had 50 or 60 people in my graduating class. I don't know how big your school was, but
a lot bigger than
yeah,
that.
a lot bigger than that. So, I moved here when I was 19 and it was like coming into a different world.
Yeah.
Literally like coming here to hang out at ASU, just like the girls, the partying, the energy. It sucked me in. It was awesome, but it sucked me into a bad way because then I started hanging out with the wrong people. I started partying. I saved up money. I worked at UPS at home, came out here, quit my job, and I probably went broke probably within like a year and a half. And I remember the last time I called my mom and stepdad to borrow money, he was like, tell him we're not sending him any more money after that. So that was kind of like one of the times where I was starting to hit rock bottom because I just felt like worthless, a piece of crap. So I got my first job out here 2020, I believe. I was doing ballet at the W. And then I went from there to doing security. I was actually doing both of them. And you got to start from the bottom sometimes. Like, I mean, it was embarrassing for me having to park cars for all these like girls with their guys. And like, I'm just like, kind of felt like the loser that was just parking the cars and stuff. And then I just started doing security there too, kind of worked my way up. And then in 2011, that's when I got into training.
Got it.
But the young me here was just, came from a small southern town, came into the West Coast and kind of just got mixed up in a lot of stuff. And then we'll kind of backtrack a little bit. 2010, I was kind of hanging out in the rave scene, partying. I started selling ketamine at all these different parties and festivals. So we were outside of a club. We were smoking a joint. This is when I was 19. Cop ran up on us. We tried to run away. I'm like, we're not going to get away from them. So we stopped for a minute. I tried to toss the bag into the sewer, and then that's when he caught me with it. And then that was the first time I got arrested for like a real offense. Okay,
Oh, wow.
So he got me charged with drug paraphernalia. Had to go to jail for a couple of days, and then I moved addresses. And I know I never went to court, but I kind of forgot about it. So a year later, that's when there was a warrant out for my arrest.
Damn.
And that was in I think it was in 2020. Yeah. So anyway, I'm with a friend. We're going to the gas station. 2 cops surround my Mustang. And at first they were like, okay, well, maybe it's not you. But then they found out it was me. So I had to go to jail for a couple days. It was my first offense. So it would have been a felony, but then it got dropped. And then I was on unsupervised probation for like almost 2 years.
Jeez.
So that was one of the big turning points. Like, you have to get your life together right now or you're going to go down a bad path. So,
Dude, thank you for sharing that. Again, I think that most people, they almost think that like really successful people don't have problems until they start seeing success and they're like, I still have problems.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you still have problems.
for sure.
Right?
Always.
Every day.
Every day.
They're just better problems than you had before.
Yes.
Right? So thank you for sharing that because a lot of people can relate to it. And when you hit rock bottom, what was really like your mindset? What did you do immediately that turned things around?
Well, when I started to go down that path to get in stuff a little deeper, so my dad went to prison like right before I was born. So my mom was pregnant with me. My dad went into prison and he was there in and out like my whole childhood. Like I love my dad. We're closer now, but like I didn't have a dad like my whole childhood. So slipping into that path, I thought, okay, I think my mom even said it once, so you're going to end up like your dad. So that's what really like caught my attention. And then I started realizing that I needed to get back in check. So what were you asking there? I kind of like slid off.
No, that's what kind of was the main thing you did to change from being at rock bottom?
Oh, yeah. So just surrounding myself with the right people. I quit bodybuilding as a teen. I was doing it when I was 17, 18. I quit for almost 2 years, getting back into fitness. So, like, fitness can save your life in so many ways. Like, it got me out of trouble. It got me to stop partying for the most part. It got me to hang out with different people. I mean, Rigo, like, when I met him, we just started bodybuilding, and that's all I cared about. I didn't want to get into trouble anymore. So that was the main thing. And then just working, I got a job and started working again.
Putting your energy in the right places.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Putting your energy with the right people.
Yes.
That's so important. So guys, if you're listening or watching this, just if you're going through a dark time in your life, if you're having struggles, look at your circle. Look who's around you, because most likely it's the wrong people.
Yep.
I always I take any relationship I'm in now and I look at, is this person bringing me value or are they making effort? Like, if there's no effort on their part to like really be in my life and they're not bringing me value, why would I make any effort to have that as someone in my circle? Right? But if they're bringing me a ton of value, then I'm going to actually make effort to have them in the circle because they're bringing me value, right? But if they're not bringing me value, but they're always like, dude, I want to hang out, I want to do this, I want to do that, but they're a good person, but they're not bringing me any value.
Yes.
But they're a good person still. That's kind of what I look at. If you look around your circle and you've got people that aren't bringing you value, or they're not making effort to be around and like help you in some way, cut ties.
Nope. There's no reason to really associate with them.
Cut ties quick. Get different people around you because you are a product of your environment.
Yep.
And dude, I've seen, even since I've known you, which you weren't in your super dark time because it had been about a year, right? I never even knew you were addicted to stuff. So I met you maybe late 2013, early 2014, and you seemed like you had it put together. You were at Lifetime Fitness, trainer there, freaking jacked. I'm like, I want to get jacked.
Yep.
So I'm like, again, I always associate with people that I want to emulate. So I saw you. I'm like, dude, I want to be jacked like him. I should probably see how he works out, pick his brain a little bit.
Yep.
So back then, I felt like you had it put together, but I've seen the transformation from then until now. Dude, it's night and day.
Yep.
Night and day, right? So what kind of people do you hang out with nowadays? Because back then, not good people, right?
Yeah.
Druggies, partiers,
Yes. Just the wrong people. And then also people who I thought were my friends that ended up being fake. And then ones that just wanted to use me. I'm sure you've dealt with that before. And then ones that would say they didn't judge me, but then say things behind my back. Like, that's the worst type of person that you can hang out with, you know? So now I've got a way smaller circle. A lot of my close friends have been clients or still are clients, and they're successful, and they've kind of been mentors to me. I mean, I keep my circle pretty small right now, dude. Like, I have acquaintances, but other than that, I probably have a group of, can't even count on two hands. So
that's how it should be.
It should be. If you want to be successful, you got to have a small circle.
And the right people, man. It's cool though, because you're helping them, you're mentoring them with their physical and their health, what they put in their body, how they train, and they're mentoring you on the business side, on different aspects of life.
Yep.
Right? So how's your business going? How's everything with the business?
It's been pretty good. I mean, I'm always a student. I'm trying to learn. I'm 34 now. I'm still figuring myself out, figuring out life. I'm just always trying to better myself. But I mean, I've went from working at Lifetime in 2014 to restarting my own business at the end of 2017. And I've built a pretty big, I'm trying to build a fitness empire. It's not there yet, but I mean, I think I've done pretty good. I mean, even when you thought I was my happiest at Lifetime, I was still broke. I know remember you told me the bankruptcy thing was like 2016, right? I mean, even though I was working, I just had to put my head down because I had no option. I'm like, I got to get by, but there's no way I could have even fathomed buying a house back then. So now that I've been able to build this business, hire trainers, and I bought my first house in 2021, I mean, it's kind of like, it's crazy to like wrap my head around it, It's like, it kind of happens
like, pinch
so quick.
me. Yeah. Is this my life?
Like, this really happened? I mean, I'm not rich per se, but I have a home, I can travel. I go to Europe like once a year, I'm able to experience life. And, if you can be happy doing what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Well, dude, a lot of people think rich is just money.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, you could be extremely rich and wealthy and not have much money at all.
Yep.
Right? You're rich with the relationships, rich spiritually.
Yes.
You can be rich in so many ways, which I think you have that.
Yeah.
But you're not broke, right?
Yeah.
Just the financial piece, it takes time, man. Everything in life that is worthwhile takes time. Because if it didn't, everyone would be walking around jacked.
Yes.
Everyone would be walking around with, tons of money and driving a Bentley and
all the cars, and then living in a mansion.
Wearing like a freaking Patek. Like it just, things take time. So, yeah, man, I respect what you've done and just respect how you've changed your life and turned it around. Because I know addiction it's hard, man.
Yep.
I don't really talk about this much. Really hardly at all. But I got addicted to cocaine right before my daughter was born. It was 2007, and my ex is pregnant, and I got hooked on cocaine. I'm talking about like doing it at work. I'd be at work, get juiced up, come to my desk. I'm just like nodding off on my desk, just nodding off. So I got to go back down to my car, do some more.
Yep.
Dude, it was bad. Like one night it was doing lines is probably as big as my pinky.
Yep.
And one more I probably would have overdosed. 2006, right before my daughter's born, she would never met her dad. Right? So it's like, I've been there, man. I've been at those lows. And I think struggles and setbacks in life are what build your character.
Definitely.
It builds who you are. And I think that you're the most equipped to help the person you used to be.
Yeah.
Right? So all these struggles you've seen in your life equip you to help other people that are there now.
Yes.
Right? So I just respect what you've done, man. And I love where you're heading with the business.
Yep.
Like you're growing it big time.
Yep. And I appreciate that. And I always respected you, for as a man, as a father and everything. So appreciate it. But like you said, I feel like it molds you into who you are. Like going through all these struggles and adversity, it just builds character, builds integrity. And that's why I try to tell everyone, like when my clients get to know me, like I can relate to anyone on the surface. Like, I don't know, people always get this wrong idea. They think I've had it handed to me easy. They think I'm really serious person, which I guess that could come from all like the fitness pictures and stuff. But I've went through it all, I've went through addictions. I've went through childhood trauma. I've been someone that grew up without a father. I've sold drugs, did drugs, like anything. Like I've made just as many mistakes as anyone. So now I can kind of pass on that knowledge to help people better their lives. And that's probably like the best feeling.
Yeah. And there's probably times when you are doing that. Like your clients have these down days. I'm sure you don't have clients that are all just sunshine and rainbows,
no.
Right? They've got their problems and
yeah.
they might have their addictions.
Yep.
And you can talk to them about how you overcame yours. It opens up that I think when people become vulnerable.
Yes, there you go.
When people become vulnerable, it opens up for relationship.
Yep.
So
I'll be like, oh, I went through that. And they just like look at me and they're like, really? And then you just get so much closer and you can help them.
Exactly. Because so many people have guards up until you put your guard down.
Yep.
Right? So like if you're the first one to do that, you put your guard down and get vulnerable with somebody, all of a sudden they feel like they can put their guard down.
Yep.
And that's when really true relationships happen. Right? So I implore all of you guys to look at all of your struggles, look at all of your downfalls, look at all your setbacks, and think of them as fuel to, one, get you to the next level. Because when you hit rock bottom, you just have a place to launch from, right?
Yep.
So you have a place to launch from, but also you have a place to really add value to other people along your journey.
Yep.
Which is what you've done. You could be, oh, woe is me, like I didn't have a dad. My single mom brought me up. She got married to someone else. I got a stepdad. Like I'm going through these. You could be literally just a victim. Right?
Yeah, I've been that person too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you have as well. And you said you've never talked about your addiction. I used to never talk about anything. I was like, oh, let me pretend that I've been perfect. I've never been addicted to anything because I was worried about people judging me and what they would think of me. But the more vulnerable and transparent I am, the more that I can help people.
Yeah.
And now I know that. Like I get more engagement when I post stuff like this than fitness stuff.
Yeah.
It's true.
The crazy part too is like, I've been there too, where I'm like, should I post this video? Because I'm like, I don't know what people are going to think. Right. But I think if you lead with your heart and you lead with, this can help people. Like, who cares what anyone thinks? Like, who cares about the judgment? Because 9 times out of 10, the people that you think are judging you, you're never going to meet them.
Yep.
You're never going to see them. You're never going to walk by them. And if you do, you won't know it's them, right? So who cares what people think?
Who cares, dude?
Just, I've been there before where it's like, I care what people think. I don't want to be judged. But as long as you like are good with how you are inside, dude, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Yep. I used to care so much about what people thought of me or them judging me. Like I can care less what anybody thinks anymore. Like all of our struggles and flaws, that's what makes us all like unique and beautiful, you know? And then once you start putting that out there, people can see the real you.
100%.
You know?
Dude, so what are you working on now? What's the biggest thing you got going?
Well, I want to get my own place eventually, you know? So
For the fitness?
we operate out of 2 gyms. So one's in South Scottsdale, one's in North Scottsdale. Long story short, I was at the North Scottsdale one in 2018. I think I've told the story, sued by my old employer, Lifetime. And then
right.
I had to, for a non-compete, I had to leave to go to Independence in Old Town. Stayed there for 9 months till the non-compete was over. But then I realized I could have clients on the north side of town and the south side of town. So I split it, and then I hired a couple of trainers under me. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, I would really like to have my own space. It would have to be right in between both. It's a big financial thing, especially with the market and everything right now, getting a corporate building. But
You're going to buy the building or lease it? Or?
Lease it. And then, but the equipment, I mean, we're going to need a lot of good equipment, you know? And it doesn't have to be huge like a LA Fitness, but I just want one of the nicest private studios that we could get in.
Maybe I buy it and you lease it from me.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey.
And I have a couple of clients that are interested in helping me. So that would be my next goal down the road. And I don't know, I just want to grow the team, and not really for online trainers, but in-person trainers. I was talking to my girlfriend. I kind of want to like be able to build a course to teach them how to be a better trainer, because there's just so many people who think they're going to come into this industry. They're like, I'm going to be a personal trainer. I'm going to make 6 figures immediately and just grow my brand. Or they're like, I'm going to be an online trainer. Like, I've been in this industry a long time.
It's not that easy.
Not going to happen. I've been training since 2011. So what are we, like 12 years in here? I mean, there's been times where I've thought about quitting. I've wanted to quit. You're going to have ups and downs. Clients are going to come and go. So if it's not your passion and you're not ready to put your head down and work for 4 to 5 years just to get on your feet, you might as well go do an office job or something.
100%.
Yep.
So grow the business, get your own space, more trainers under you.
Yep.
And you going to do any more shows?
No more shows. This is another thing. No one knows about you till they get to know you. So like everyone sees me as a bodybuilder, but you kind of know. So I've raced motocross since I was 12 years old. I kind of had an 8-year hiatus, got back into it in 2015. So the only competitions I'm doing now is racing. Like I'm in the older guy class, the plus 30 class. So
the old man class.
It sounds like I'm still young, but for motocross, it's old. So I'm focusing on a couple races for that. It keeps my fitness up. You snowboard, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like snowboarding. It's adrenaline. I can train for it. I love it. I mean, it's the best. Very dangerous, but everyone's like, why do you do it if you keep getting hurt? And I'm like, well, why do you ski or snowboard? It's the same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the main focus. No shows for now, but I still love the sport. I mean, it helped me build everything I have, but I'll keep training clients for it for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to start riding motorcycles again. Rode them as a kid, dirt bikes. So much fun.
It's so fun.
It's probably a lot like snowboarding in terms of how much calories you burn. Like people don't realize when you snowboard, you're just constantly moving, constantly. It's the same thing on a bike. You've got this heavy bike.
Yes.
That you have to maneuver. And how much does a bike weigh?
It's 250 pounds. I mean, it's literally, people don't understand.
That'd be like your bike. It's like a 450.
Yeah. It's
I'd ride like a 125.
You would be perfect on a 125. It's still a heavy bike though, but it's the hardest sport in the world. Like the pro athletes, not only are they on top of their cardio, their weightlifting, their endurance training, their nutrition, like it's so hard. People don't understand, and so is snowboarding. So
yeah, dude, I think it's probably one of the funnest things ever. I lose myself in snowboarding. I used to have headphones on.
Yep.
And now I'm like, no, I just want to hear the mountain.
Yeah.
And like just be at one with the mountain. And it's so much fun, man.
You're literally living in the moment. So motocross is one of the only things where I can go out there and I can just forget about everything and I can just be in the moment, and it's the best feeling ever. It's like meditation for me.
Have you ever thought about, because it sounds like that's a huge passion of yours. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought of how to somehow, I don't know how you do it, intertwine that with your business?
Yes. Like I want to, it's just tough because there's trainers specifically that do that and they have their little niche, but there's no reason that I can't because I do both of them too. So I think it's just really like marketing it and, getting the right groups for training or doing the online coaching for it. But I would love that.
So, and it's training to train people for motocross?
Yeah, for racing. It's a little bit different, but I can do it. You're doing a little bit more like hit style, a little more endurance, like stability and core work. But I do it now. I mean, my workouts are like hybrid for hypertrophy and then hit training, I guess, for motocross.
It'd be super cool. I just thought of this while you were saying that is if you had like a studio, right, where everyone's doing the training, but then part of the studio is like a little motocross track.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So like there's going to be a lot of liabilities. You might have to have waivers and all that stuff, but people could actually train their legs, train whatever they need to like be able to ride the motocross, but then they also go do it. That's part of the training session.
Yeah. That's like the dream to have a property like that. That would have to be like...
I don't think anyone has something like that.
No.
Right?
That would have to be like in Cave Creek or North Scottsdale. Like that's the only thing. It would have to be a little more like centrally located, but I would love to live up in that area and just have a huge warehouse gym and a track. And I always wanted to have like a ranch, Like I think it'd just be cool to live out there. I mean, you're in Desert Ridge, like a little further. It's so peaceful out there.
It is. We're like right on the edge before there's like nothing.
Yeah, before it gets to the country.
Yeah, so there's like Pinnacle Peak, and then there's nothing.
Yeah, and then it's just like land.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're right next to that, and it's awesome, dude. We love it up there.
I do too.
There's so much stuff being built though, and it's like I was talking to Danielle about this the other day. She's like, "Man, so many things are being built. What do you think it is?" I'm like, "It's housing. Like that's all it's being built around here is housing. So it's condos and things like that." Oh. She's like, "Well, I hope the wrong people don't come in." And I'm like, "What do you mean the wrong people?" And she's like, "We've got classy, clean people up here. I don't want it to become like where it was in Phoenix when we were in Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
It was super nice, but then you'd cross a street and it's ghetto. Right?
It's so funny in Phoenix.
Super nice over here, ghetto over here. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing about Desert Ridge is like everywhere is nice.
Yep.
And then you go a little further and you have like your ranches and you can have horses out there.
Yeah. I don't think the wrong people could even afford and move into that area. Like it's so safe there. I mean, I think I live 5 minutes from you, even though I'm down on Union Hills. It's like I could leave my garage open all night and I don't think anybody would come steal my motorcycle.
Really?
It's nice to know that I'm in that little pocket. It's super safe.
Do you ever leave it open?
No, I never would.
I was going to say,
but
I come over. You see me on the 400.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing out here?
I wouldn't even be able to touch my feet on the ground probably.
You could touch on it. It would just be a big, powerful bike for you.
I'd have 1 foot touching.
Yeah, you'd have to lean it
One
over
toe.
a little bit. Yeah. I have a little pit bike, though. Maybe you can ride it sometime.
What's a pit bike?
It's like a 110, but like the grown men can still mess around on them.
Oh, dude.
And it's got like higher bars and stuff.
I'd be down.
So that could be your intro back into motocross.
Yeah, I got to do, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it like now because the baby comes in like 2 months.
You got to be careful. We can't have you getting crippled before the baby pops up.
Not even that, just time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have much time once the baby comes.
Dude, you're going to be busy, man.
Super busy, probably not sleeping much.
Yep.
Well, dude, it was a pleasure having you on. Really was, dude. It's been too long. We need to hang out more.
Definitely, man.
Hopefully people got a lot of value from just your knowledge of fitness, your knowledge of health, your background, kind of what you struggled through. So, guys, listening or watching, share this with whoever you know, anyone that you feel that can get value from it, anyone you love. Until next time, love you guys. Peace.